Hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers. Happy New Everything, always now, because we don't do time. So let's not argue about time and calendars and so forth, I would say. Now, I hope you can all feel the massive shift since the new year. That was quite something. I had plans to do a lot of gate work and grid work around the, at New Year's time, so at midnight. Anyway, about an hour or so before, I could feel this really heavy energy coming in, and it lasted for about 24 hours, and I could really do very little. What was done was very effective. And a lot of it was also about us just holding the total 0-point field, at least for me, because after my last video, I got even more of an energetic backlash than the one before. Which is quite predictable because of what I speak about, because I know that what I speak about does, again, trigger a lot of people because it's not what the ego likes to hear. So that's mainly the issue here. And the ego is dying a collective death, and it's not going easily. It's kicking and screaming while it does. So also what's happening is that there's the whole false light matrix is fully dissolving, and this is bringing to light everything that was hidden, all the false people, teachers, gurus, leaders, false people, everywhere out there or in our immediate environment, could be our families as well. So a lot of betrayal is coming up, a lot of the original abandonment wounds, rejection. It's a lot to do with us accessing our Lyran memories because of the Stargate repair that has been completed or is completing, which is also happening within us. So now our third eye and sort of soul star chakra area, which is now kind of the crown, the new crown. And this is basically bringing back all of these memories on some level or another. So some people might have dreams, others have visions or memories returning. And this is triggering a lot of guilt and shame within people who are finding out that they have been serving the false light. And for anyone who's finding this out or will find this out, I just want to say that's the only way you find out what that looks like. And we've all been there. And that's how I found out, quite frankly. And I had a lot of experience with these types of people because, quite frankly, 95% of people out there in the Ascension community, kind of the leaders, especially the ones who are very popular, often are quite false. Now, I'm not saying they're all serving a negative agenda knowingly, but yes, there are also a lot of people who are unknowingly doing this. Now, my suggestion is, and I do say that often, is it's about your connection to source. It's about you unifying with your multidimensional self and God source self, because we are fully anchored now, the God source consciousness, the cosmic consciousness, which is going mainstream. And we are the anchors for that. We are igniting the field. Okay, the cosmic unity field is fully online now. The cosmic heart grid, the emerald heart grid, is fully online now. Okay, you can feel that these heart openings, these heart activations. I also can again suggest the emerald heart activation, divine union activation that I have. There's a link below that you can access against a donation. A minimum I'm asking for €7.77. You can also choose to enter more if you find everything that I'm sharing with everyone freely of support to you, because I am relying on people also supporting me back through donations. And I just don't have the space, okay, for private sessions in case anybody is interested. Also messages and emails, I'm very limited. It's just I'm holding so much. I just energetically do not have the bandwidth. I just cannot do it because it's a whole energetic exchange and thing. And I just have to hold the field. And I'm just not a huge fan of the whole electric forth and back. I did this years ago where I did constantly was, in Messenger and online and assisting people, but I just can't do this. Otherwise I would be doing private sessions. I could very much do with the money. I would like a home to live in, which I at the moment can't afford, because I've just been guided to do what I'm doing in order to share these messages with as many people as possible, even if people get triggered and hate me for it. That's just what I'm here. And that's where we all need to be, to really be the truth, your true authentic self, whatever you are here to do and bring to the world, and be that. No matter whether you're being ostracized, I don't know, abandoned, rejected, and judged, okay? And hated. Because, yeah, people don't like, or the ego doesn't like to hear the truth. And we have been hunted down, murdered, and killed for the keys and codes we hold, for the wisdom we hold, for the blueprints we hold, the DNA template we hold, because this is igniting new ascension Earth, and it's the end of the invaders. And that's happening. It's already in full force. So it's all done. It's all happening. I'm just giving a little roundup before I'm actually stepping back also for a few days. Was so exhausted. And I think a lot of feminines can also feel that, who are literally holding this in the field and rebirthing new ascension Earth through us. And I mean, everybody of us can feel. So the energies are very intense. The solar energies just keep on going. And I think there's a lot more solar wind geomagnetic storms to be expected. And it's all assisting us in purifying these layers, because what is it down to? It's us, not standing fully in our power. It's us not being fearless and just being our true authentic self. If everybody was their true authentic self and would be honest all the time, this is done. Because this is what this is all about. Because what does the negative alien agenda or the Kabbalah and Illuminati stand for? They lie. It's manipulation, lies, deceit, all of that. So what's the antidote? It's truth. The truth will set you free. It hurts the ego bit, but the ego is false. It's a fictitious character. What we are doing is self-realization. But you first have to fully let that ego go. And we all know what, those deaths look like. Some call it shadow work or dark night of the soul. Ultimately, it's ego deaths. The false self needs to be relinquished and surrendered to source. And then you become empty and let God's source fulfill you. And that's what's available right now, where you literally let the Holy Spirit take over and possess you, so to say, divine source consciousness, cosmic consciousness, and let that take over and show you the way and show you the real truth and what you're here to do. Because you hold all the answers within. They're not being found in a book or a video or a course. This is all just to remind you, but ultimately the spiritual journey is very unique to each person. And there's not one path, there are many. But there are some instruction sets and higher guidance and consciousness I'm sharing that will help you remember what the truth really feels like, because you need to feel it for yourself. And the truth also changes and expands as we expand and change. There is no ultimate truth as such. And we need to transcend all sense of dogmatism and right and wrong and good and bad, because the best way to find out is to just try it out through experience, which is what we have been doing. For example, what I've been sharing 2 videos ago about sacred sexuality, and I know it triggered some egos, and that's okay. So what I would suggest is, first of all, we have fully healed and are healing the sexual trauma and wounds and any guilt and shame connected to that. So I don't want anyone feeling guilty for having an orgasm, nor should that be connected to anything in regards to sexuality. Now, we need to be just very okay with talking about this, to transcend any shame and, guilt that may have been given to us by especially organized religion in our environment. So, but the thing is, so the sacred sexuality, I leave the link again below, is very much about white tantra, and it was about sex without orgasm. And I was giving my perspective on this. And ultimately, I would implore you, before you go for, one source might say, yes, this is the only way. And another source might say, no, this is the only way, contracting information, okay, which we come across every day, all right? Information in general. We need to learn how to discern information. And the best way is, with these kind of things, try it out. That's the only way how you will find out what is best for you. And ultimately, that's what all of this is about. And what's best for me might not be best for you. Or what might be best for me today might not be good for me tomorrow. That could be anything, okay? It could be what we eat, what we do, anything. Okay, the people we hang out with, what we resonate with, basically, because we're constantly changing, isn't it? So experience is the only way we find out. So literally, instead of arguing over who's right and wrong, why don't you just find it out for yourself? And as long as you don't hurt another person, be happy with it. Because there's so much arguing going on about opinions and belief systems, and that's what's keeping us apart. And who's right and who's wrong. And any dogmatism and any teachings that are telling you this is right, this is wrong, there's an issue. That's polarity consciousness, and you're stuck in it, and you might not be able to see it. Discernment is different than judgment. Okay, it's the difference of us observing, studying, and then discerning, instead of like getting triggered, having a reaction, overreaction, and then judging, because you're just judging something that you feel is outside of you. And we're transcending all of the sense of separation, where we have an integrated sense of self, our true higher divine self, which is a unique fractal of God that looks different for each one of us. But it's, fully integrated. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, that's what we're going for, okay? Our true authentic self. And no matter what anyone thinks. So we're no longer holding back, okay? We're trying to find a way where we can speak from the heart. We don't want to hurt people either and be rude. This is not what this is about. But sometimes you might need to put a foot down and need to be a little bit more, clear and say, no, this is bullshit. For example, each moment depends, okay? Again, this is like the worst thing. One of the things that really trigger my field is when somebody is false, okay? Like the false feminine. And I know we've been talking about the masculine much, but ultimately, really, I don't care whether it's false masculine or feminine. These are the things we're getting rid of. So the manipulative, the one who lies or tries to use the victim state to get what she wants. Because when the true feminine is in her true power, she can communicate her needs and what she needs and wants, the needs, clearly, without playing the victim. And she can say yes or no, instead of saying yes when she doesn't want to. And, just people pleasing, where you're literally always betraying yourself. This is how we are rejecting and betraying and abandoning ourselves, when we are going along with things in order to be liked and loved by others. And I think most of us will agree that when we are our true self, that's when we've gotten to know our true self, that's when we really then know who are the people who are good for us. And we can see the truth in other people. And again, as we are awakening to our true self, we then see the lies around us. Might not be comfortable, but the best way is to ultimately see the divinity in all experiences, in all things, in all people. Remember, there's a big picture. Remember, it's all helping you to integrate all of these aspects, okay, within, and see that everything is co-created. So as long as you still feel yourself separate from your creation and you feel that something is happening to you, you're still in victim energy. And we're totally transcending the victim now, because the collective victim is gone. And that also fully dissolves the victimizer. Because this is about a war in consciousness. And the war in consciousness was about service to self versus service to others. So service to self would be kind of the Illuminati, Cabal type negative aliens. And then service to others is the Christic lineages, the gray lines. And ultimately, what this is coming to, as we merge shadow and light, higher and lower self, the fallen and the risen angelic, so to say. What was I getting at? Service to all. That's what comes out of it. Okay, so we cannot always just serve ourselves. That's a narcissistic imprint. Then service to others is the codependent imprint. None of these work. So we're getting fully rid of both of them, and it's service to all. Where yes, we do need to look after ourselves first. We cannot give from an empty cup. The same as I now need to just take a few days and recoup again after all of this energetic backlash, attacks, and all this nonsense. And yeah, just generally, I'm also really tired of doing this, generally speaking. I think we all need a holiday, and where we're going is a holiday of a lifetime where you never need a holiday from your life, because it's all just, it's very much enjoy. I don't see this big kind of help project rolling out where we need to rescue everyone, okay? Because this is ultimately about us healing and rescuing ourselves, and that automatically helps everyone else. Now, we're finished with carrying other people's stuff. The ancestral and bloodline clearing is done, okay? Hallelujah. So now we're letting go. We're no longer like we're holding over space, okay? And we always, what we do will influence one another because it's one unity field, okay? But we're also now very fully sovereign. So we're no longer having all of these attachments dragging on our energy, where we're dragging people along, okay? We're no longer dragging anyone along at all. So we need to keep rising, rising, rising. Those who want to and can, they will come along. Don't worry about the others. You just keep seeing everyone in the highest light, but everybody's self-responsible. It's both ends. But the codes are in the field, the higher consciousness in the field, and you need to think 100 monkey effect. It's just rolling out. Just keep seeing the highest light, but again, it will also be down to the individual, okay? So, but let go. No attachment to outcome, okay? You don't know that soul's journey anyway, what they need to experience and what they have co-created, okay? So give everybody the gift of sovereignty, hope for the best without attachment to outcome. But again, I'm seeing us quantum leaping. This is completing now with the pole shift, which is very much connected to this whole victim-victimizer game fully being done now, because we've fully transcended the victim that gets gaslit, the Christics who've been hunted down, who had needed to hide who we really are, or were again hunted down and killed and raped for it, and tortured. And basically, this is now at an end because we are standing, the forerunners now, standing fully in our power, having reclaimed our body parts as the cosmic dragons and magic grail queens and kings that we are, these indigo lines and star, you know, the original tribes that have seeded us, which are us. So it's all unified as one tribe, the tribal shield, the cosmic monad, fully healed, fully unified, but it's going out from within. And also instead of a pyramidal structure, we have a circular structure as a cosmic consciousness, but it's radiating from within, from the core out. Okay, and so you have the cosmic monad without, but again, we're all part of this, but it's sort of soul groups, you know, that are part of this and that come from within the source. But it's now all one source field. Okay, this is all the old consciousness is being overwritten by cosmic consciousness. There's a lot of God source energies flowing in all day. So since the second now, we're fully online with the new organic creatrix field. In any moment now, the false overlays go, because as all these fear-based, limiting thought forms and beliefs that the old matrix was based upon ultimately are fully dissolving. And I think you can feel it. So we feel fearless, boundless, limitless. And now we know we can create the realities we want to experience, because we're all done with the old polarized realities. And it was all a dream. It's all an illusion. It's a projection. Okay. I've written about this as well. This is basically at a cellular level being cleared out. It's artificial overlays, okay, inserts. It's a sine wave that had been projected out from within your third eye. And it's basically putting a screen on top of an organic field. Okay, so you're seeing like a screen that's artificial over what should be beautiful new earth organic landscapes. It's right here. We just can't see it just yet. So it's going to switch on any moment now. This has so much to do with the supernova of the heart event. It's in full force. I think we can feel it. Again, the emerald diamond heart grid cosmically is fully online. The cosmic unity field is now fully online. And yeah, the true emerald order is back, and the emerald awakening is here. And again, this is very much connected to our hearts. And this is the event, as many call it, as I see it. And it's already happening. We can feel it, the intensity, and we're reaching the final crescendo and climax. And it's basically in motion. That's what I'm seeing. So we need to fully transcend any victim consciousness. Okay. Also realize as soon as we create the hero, we also create the villain. Okay. So we totally dissolve all this like dogmatism and good versus evil, whilst that exists at that level. It's for us just to learn what really serves us and what doesn't. So what is good and evil? Yeah, and evil again is unconsciousness. When we're unconscious, that's when the invasions happen. That's when you have entities coming in and creating them, literally. Okay, and as we transcend as we heal all of our wounds and fully regain the confidence in our power, and there's no more doubt and insecurities, that's us fully stepping back into our power. And that's us fully now taking control or the responsibility back for this world, for our creation. We have created all of this. So there's no one coming doing this for us. Okay, nobody wiser. And we're totally transcending any kind of like inequality in regards to somebody is above or below us. Because it happens, there's such an issue, and that's the only reason why we have false light, is that people put teachers, gurus on a pedestal, and then when they think somebody's great, whatever they say is, that's just kind of the word of God. And they just swallow everything that's given to them, and they don't have any discernment. And that's the issue. So when you're also connecting to your higher self, it's your higher identities. You don't want to go sideways and, you know, like you are the ascended master. You want to access your ascended master identity and knowledge and wisdom, your unique gifts and abilities, and you can't find this in someone else's material. It can just help you ignite your remembering, but this is all about self-empowerment and no longer putting anyone on a pedestal. Because you need to, whatever anyone says, whatever I say, still put it through your filter and your discernment. And again, the only way you really find out is by actually experiencing it, by trying it out. That's the only way you really know. Until then, everything is just hearsay and theory. Okay? So even with tests, even when you do experiments, they're still subjective because it's all through the eye of the observer. So you're the observer, the observed, and the creator. And once you realize that there's no more victim here, no more victimizer, that's how we're totally transcending all of this karmic stuff. It's already done. It's just trickling down. And now it's no more trickling down, the pyramid, it's just rolling out from the circle. Okay, and we're all the circle. The circle is one. So there's only one of us here. And as we heal, the victimizer heals. So as we were the victims to, you know, these imposters and invaders, basically taking our land, okay, that's another big issue, and all these false systems, you need to just withdraw your conscious consent now. Realize this is a projection of the one mind, and right now we're quantum leaping. This is the moment in no time where you have the choice, okay, to quantum leap to New Earth right now. That's what I'm seeing. Because it's there. And you just need to realize that this reality is not real and this is artificial overlays. I mean, there's more obviously to that, but right now we're at that point. That is the main switch. You fully realizing this is not real. Obviously, you're still part, you know, it's not about us withdrawing from reality, okay? This is not what it is, but you play with it. You keep seeing through the illusions and the holographic overlays. As you see them, they dissolve. And again, this is ultimately through the supernova of the heart event going direct 144. So it is done. And the pole shift. And it's connected again with this whole shift back to mother supermagnetism. And again, one more thing on the pole shift. I have showed this picture in other videos, but I'm going to show it again just to show you what the whole flow should look like, or what also the butterfly pattern is about. Okay, just to show you a visual without going too much into it, but it will help you how the poles, instead of there just being a north and a south pole, there being 4 poles, how it used to be. And that's also the yang yun flow, and that also happens within our own field. So this is basically how it should be. And this then also happens in your field, okay, where you would be standing here. And this is called the Earth's natural yang-yun flow. And again, where we're at now is since the last pole shift. Yes, the last pole shift was not a good idea, but we're shifting back to where it should be, how it should be. And that's also Mother's super magnetism. And again, this is not going to go catastrophic at all. as I'm being reassured. Again, you can only know this for yourself. If you feed into fear-based timelines, then, well, you're feeding those timelines. So yes, they do tell us stories in order for us to then manifest catastrophic events, but no longer is this going to be allowed. Well, the one mind has reconciled itself and is awakening from its psychosis and paranoia and co-creating negative events. As we realize that it's our beliefs and our thought forms, that's what creates matter. It really is down to simplicity and remembering these really core truths. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you think is right or wrong. If it's leading to a negative timeline filled with fear and you're just feeding it without coming up with a solution, yeah. You know, whether you believe you're living in a benevolent universe or one where, I don't know, some negative aliens are in charge, that's the big difference. Because once you remember you're the creator, you have merged with source, nothing lies outside of you, and you know you are those invaders as well. And that's when everything stops. That's when you take full control back over your creation, your reality, and nobody is going to force their will over yours, so to say. But it's a divine co-creation of the one mind, okay? And everything I show is really what I'm receiving through my connection from source, okay? And it's not from some ET, entity, galactic federation, or guardians, or ascended master, okay? It's me accessing my own ascended master self and guardian self and cosmic consciousness self, God soul self. That's really what we're merging with. But we're all these aspects. So this is also called the Yanun flow, and then that's called also the butterfly pattern. Okay, and it runs also in your own field. It's called the cosmic map. And this is kind of the yin-yang flow, where you just have kind of two forces instead of three energies that then circulate your life force in your field so that it is forever perpetuating from the middle. Okay, instead of just the two parts, which is also symbolized by the Vesica Pisces. So we are looking at, kind of three circles, which is the Tribeca interlinked instead of just the Vesica Pisces, which is the tri-wave also. And these are just symbols really, okay, but they are meaning basically the Trinity, the tri-wave, the Tribeca is also the Holy Trinity. That's you unifying your Divine Father, Divine Mother, Divine Child as one. And as I said, the pole shift is very much about returning to the original source flows that every Christic system should be in. So it's happening in our own system. It's already energetic completed, but for the foreigners and in the planet, but it's going out to the collective. Okay, think 100 monkey effect. And everybody who on soul level wants to pick up on this, they will. So this very much works also through soul groups that we are connected to. So when we do the work, so many other people are also affected, and we also anchor and activate this in the field, and they pick up on it through the higher self, okay? So yeah, what else did I wanted to say? And I'm going to make this a little bit shorter today. I don't even know how the 3 hours happened last time, seriously. The energies were so intense and interesting, and a lot had to come through. So it's just so super important right now that we become extra super conscious and we also let go. So it's like really focusing on what we're doing here, any work we're being shown to do, as well as just letting go and surrendering to source, because source is in charge, okay? And I mean, any fear-based timelines that you might have in your mind is just you not fully being surrendered and trusting source in a divine plan. Because then you believe some negative aliens are in charge here. And that's you literally giving your power away to them, because that's a belief you're feeding. You have to really go in and see and delete all the beliefs and thought forms that are telling you that somebody else has more power than you. Because when you have merged with source, you are at one with everything and nothing lies outside of you. And you're not going to wait for anything or think that anyone else is in charge here, but you. So let go of everything you think you know. Let God source literally show you, okay, the real truth. And if in doubt, try it the fuck out. That's the best way, okay? Trial and error. That's what we're doing here. And don't be afraid of experiences. The only things we're really regretting in the end are the things we didn't do. And yeah, at some point, it will be too late doing certain things. And there is definitely a big tickety-tock, clockety-clock ticking here. Okay, this is the end time. It's literally the end of the world as we know it. The freaking illusion. Hallelujah. Oh, can't wait. Timelessly, I am. Now, so the only way you will be able to find out truth is when you let go of what you think you know, empty yourself of your false ego self, all the beliefs you've been taking on for your lifetime, also on the spiritual journey. Because in the end, you just let it all go and empty yourself. And this is full communion with source. What do you have to lose? If you're afraid of that, there's an issue. You feel disconnected from source. That's the issue in general here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this mess because we have disconnected from source. Another thing, and what I've mentioned last time, this whole, kind of the masculine energy, kind of gaslighting the feminine. And what was I getting at there? Anyway, generally that can only happen if the feminine allows it. So in all of this, okay, there is no victim here. So we can state what is happening to us, okay, but we don't need to come from a victim energy. There's difference, the same as judgment and discernment is very different energy. So this is not about being stumm, okay, we need to bring certain things up, but we don't want to come from they did this to us, because if we would be in our full power and fully tuned in, fully at home, no negative co-creation even happens, okay? And that's what we need to remember, okay, where we're going, where we're all going to keep check, so to say, on one another and holding one another, okay? And we're not going to ostracize, we're not going to reject and abandon ourselves or others for making mistakes. And that's really important, and not judging them, because that's what brought us to this place. And if we can just be nicer to ourselves, we'll be nicer to others. And the same with all these New Year's resolutions, just try to be nicer to yourself. And a lot will come from there. Now, we're not saying, just kind of, it's all about facing the good and the bad, the shadow and everything. But ultimately, it's about, instead of focusing on the negatives, we are now needing to focus on the positive. What do we share with one another? What can we agree on? The beliefs. We need to transcend all these things that have kept us separate from one another and find those things that unify us and focus on them. Okay. And when we stop being so critical with ourselves, we also stop being that with others. Because this whole seeking of always being better and ascending, it's always like the more you seek, the more you're in a way pushing it away. Just let it be enough. Like, I'm always fine-tuning, but I also let it be enough. That's kind of where you need to get to. And it took me a long time. I used to beat myself up a lot. And I'm still, because if we're here to also adjust the systems and clear all this mess up, yes, we need to know what's right and wrong, so to say. Or, discernment is a big piece. But again, discernment is different to judgment. And then once we have transcended all the judgments, all the triggers, that's us fully unified with our true self and with source. And that's when we can fully be in our power and sovereignty. And then when nothing of that stuff affects us anymore. Now, not affect. It's like after my last video, really, like the backlash of that was really intense. But like I could feel it in my field, but it was not getting true fully to me. But I really had to hold a lot of neutrality there and just let all of that wash over me, so to say. But yeah, I mean, this is not fun, what I'm doing, I have to say. And it comes as a cost, but I also know our rewards will be very plentiful. And again, we are creating that, we're manifesting that. And how do you manifest something? You're literally thinking it into existence, because anything you can think of already exists, and we're just merging and tuning into that quantum reality. Okay. And it's all about equality right now, and remembering that we're all equal and children children of God. And, you can have compassion for beings, fallen consciousness, without feeling sorry for it or wanting to fix and heal it. But you hold it in the highest light, because we're all returning to source. We're all going home. in a sense, and we're all dying upon our old self. So we're actually all going through the same process. Just slightly different paths. I think that's probably mostly it. I just wanted to really, oh yeah, and a big piece is also realizing our priceless worth. And I spoke about this last time, the divine feminine, and it's really, and again, in us all, our gifts, abilities, our wisdom. Share it. Believe in yourself. If you don't believe that we are bringing New Earth online, then who will? Okay, so us believing in it is what makes it possible. Okay, so I can't do this on my own. Nobody can do this on our own. We need to all do this together. Enough of us believing in this is what creates the miracle. Okay, and you do this as you fully surrender yourself and allow God's source to show you what is possible right now. And forget anything anyone else says. Like, I can really, if you're having too many beliefs of other people in your mind, really just have a diet of taking in information. Just clear your mind. Really go offline, or, you know, don't read anything, so to say, or watch anything. I know it's difficult, but we are so used to distraction and not really listening in silence. Yeah. At least make space for it and tune out more and tune into your own knowing, your own voice, not someone else's. Yeah. And we're shifting really from the negative polarity to positive integrated polarity, where it's unity consciousness. And again, it's also about a lot the toxic thought patterns is really what's creating toxicity. It's the same, like if you think about placebo effect, you can apply this to anything. Okay, a lot of what's happening here is that it's a toxic thought forms that create a toxic society, and it creates the toxins in the food and the air and the water. If you clear out the toxicity of people's minds and the projection of toxicity onto food, water, air, things, people, places, you clean up the world. It's the projection of our toxic negative thoughts that's projecting all of this. Okay, it's the same with weather manipulation and weather imbalances. Once the consciousness is fully balanced, you have a fully balanced ecosystem and weather system. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, and I've seen for quite a while. Because again, once you understand we're creating all of this, then everything is this. Everything is part of that. So everything has been created by us. And when you're not fully there yet, you're still in victim, victimizer, and polarity consciousness. But you're going to be quickly taken out of that, because this is fully dissolving now within the consciousness, okay? And that brings unity and harmony and peace. All right, this is the end of the war, okay, of good versus evil, service to self versus service to others. It's service to all. We had to integrate the narcissist and the codependent to unify it, to become a fully sovereign self, because neither the narcissist nor the codependent have a sovereign sense of self. So we need to be sovereign, have a sense of self, because we can't just also be like, yeah, I'm everything and everyone, just walk right over me kind of thing either, okay? So I really believe, and that's the problem with a lot of the spiritual beliefs out there so far, it's been very much about dogmatism, but you need to be the light, and, you know, it's too much the striving of perfection that actually breeds imperfection, because nobody can hold themselves to these high standards. And again, the same with the DNA. We've really done this for the diversification of DNA, all of this, and expansion. And too much of one thing doesn't bring that. It limits you. If you just have one level of consciousness, just one direction, you know, it limits you. So you need to diversify and mix it with other parts of the consciousness. And then what we have done is purifying all these archetypes, what serves us and what doesn't, of the collective consciousness, the 144,000 archetypes of God source consciousness, and purify them through us. And we keep what resonates and leave the rest. That's us basically healing and building our blueprints. So once we have come to that deep multidimensional integration, which every trigger and everyone is helping us with, this is divine union within, this is ascension, our DNA ignites. We have strength and balance and sovereignty within. And it doesn't matter what happens and how intense it sometimes gets, we become unfuckable with, because our field is super protected, it's very sovereign, and we're really having the highest protection right now. Like, I couldn't do this if I wouldn't have really high protection and support of all the things I speak about and make myself loads of friends with. And I know, obviously, I'm also very grateful for all the people who do like what I'm sharing, but I know I'm a little bit of an oddball, and I know I don't really fit into any kind of categories of the most people out there. I kind of do my own thing, and I know sometimes the way I talk also is a bit weird, I guess. But you hopefully, or the ones who are watching it, enough people get what I'm trying to transmit. And again, the message and frequencies and keys and codes transmitted are also beyond the words, very much so. And that's what you also always need to tune into, the whole frequency of a person and energy. So any projections, fears, doubts fully dissolve now. And that's us fully reclaiming our true self, full power. That's us being the love and being the change. And we are literally changing the world by being the change, okay? Also, the way the reality shifting Mandela effect. Again, as we change in the present, we change the past, which changes the future. The past has to change the future. Okay, look up Mandela effect if you don't know what that is, but I think most do. So letting go is a big theme right now. Let the past go, anything that doesn't serve you, go, anything that drags you down, go. You need to be able to cut people off when necessary that drag you down or trying to interfere. And obviously also those that turn out to be false, okay? There can be no false kind of nostalgia. You need to understand what's at stake here. It's our ascension, and you want to get this done. Do you want to get out of here, or you want to be a nice person? This is not about being a nice person. Yes, we are love embodied, but being a nice person, you know what I mean? It's different. As in, yes, we want to come from grace and we come from love, but that also means sometimes tough love, as we have spoken about before. Especially in times like these, okay? You need to really have your wits about you. Discernment, boundaries, very important. And the most important thing about boundaries is, as long as you stand in true integrity with your true self, being fully honest, that's you basically in integrity, okay? But it's obviously not as easy because you need to hold yourself also to that integrity. So first of all, yeah, not lying to ourselves, you know, that's where it all starts, truly. So all is first created energetically from within and then gets projected out. And really, this is like a fact at this point for me. And we know when we're in a good high vibration, everything works out for us. You know, if you've ever been in love and everything just, you know, looks much more beautiful than it did before, and everything just kind of flows to you. Okay, abundance is there because that's the frequency of love. It is abundance, but it all starts with self-love. Okay, and comes back to that for sure. So that's why we need to be super extra conscious, especially now, because really the world is, you know, projected out from within us, but again, it's a collective co-creation, and it's been heavily influenced and artificially overlaid and messed with. That's what we call fallen or artificial timelines. Okay, they've been influenced, manipulated, and that's all fully been cleared. And that means we have now full, like, manifestations are super heightened. I mean, again, everything is coming to us. All our biggest dreams are coming true. It's all completing right now. And one more thing, because I mentioned in the last video that Jeshua was crucified or was put up on a cross. Now, that's more metaphorically speaking. I don't believe that he was actually put up on a cross and crucified. I do believe, however, the story is metaphorically still a relevant teaching, as in the whole being crucified for something and what he did experience, as in he spoke the truth and what he wanted to do. And obviously people hated him for that. So, but yeah, I do believe there were three Christs. There is a story about the three true Christs. Now, I do believe that it's an inversion of the truth, that story, because I do believe or know that Mary and Joshua did have children, and there's a Christic lineage, and he was a true 12D Christ. And the other one is the 9D Anunnaki, so to say, insert. So basically there's a story that there was a guy who was crucified on behalf of Joshua, Then there was a guy who was kind of a 9D Anunnaki version of the Christ. And then there's the 12D Joshua as we know him. But that story says that he basically he did have children, but with, I think, 6 different priestesses or something like that. And again, that does not just on a pure logical level resonate with me, because Mary and Joshua very much were there to anchor the herogamic union template together as equals. And that's what we're doing now as well, just within our own crisis of fear blueprint. So within us, we're having a herogamic template, but then also with another. So there's another thing when I said, I think I just kind of slipped out, like, you know, union twin, it's like 2 halves. And I guess at first, as we were androgynous and then split into two halves, it has felt like this, that kind of the other half was missing. But ultimately what we have done is that we have kind of multiplied 2 halves into 2 wholes. And now it's 2 wholes that create a third, which is the Holy Trinity, within the oneness as they are in divine union with God and one another. And that creates the Holy Trinity, those blueprints, which are also the new herogamic blueprints. So it's where you're not just in union with another person on that level, but also within yourself. It's just a whole more balanced blueprint than it was possible before, where you can also, so to say, you know, be in your own divine union without another person, if that makes sense. Where before you would have needed another person. Although again, if you are, you know, here to reunite with your twin, and this is something that you both have manifested for you, it is power tripled. So when you come together, you know, it's your power, their power, plus God. So it's power tripled. So, you know, often twins have grid work and gate work and other missions that they're completing. Most of it is really down to us clearing our own templates, which is clearing up the planetary template. That's also helping clearing up the whole collective field and all of our blueprints. That's what we're really here for. And especially the magic gray lines, which are holding these core templates for the 13 original tribes and star races, where all the others, so to say, come from, are connected to. But again, we're all connected to the one tribe. We're all connected to the one source, okay? Let us not forget. That's what the whole Christ as a Fear template is also about. So it's for androgynous beings, and it's also for beings in masculine and feminine forms and all kinds of star races. So with all of the memories returning, you will be shown what went wrong and what needs to be corrected and made right again. So it's kind of like you're going back in time to how did we get here? And now you're being shown right, like these lion memories returning is basically returning our royal codes. So the Lyran royal houses, which is also connected again to the 13 tribes splitting, the Essenes divide, and the whole divide in the spiritual community. So it's the tribes splitting, the star races, stargates being blown up. Okay, it's all interconnected throughout the timelines that we've been busy correcting and healing. And as this all heals, the core monad heals, and all the tribes are coming together back together, which is the cosmic divine union. And as I said, the twin flames, and especially the original ones, are at the core of making that happen as they come to divine union within themselves and then with one another, if that is part of their plan, so to say. So just know that's what it is when your wounds of abandonment, rejection, betrayal, and overall feeling separate from source being triggered. It really goes back to, again, these original traumatic cataclysmic events, and also our original separation from source, or us feeling separate from source. But that's what we're reconnecting now, where we're in a body, you know, separate from all these other people, as well as, you know, source, but we will feel at one with one another, within our body, and at one with source, and there's no more separation. Okay, this is a whole God consciousness field, cosmic consciousness field, the new cosmic field, the new heart grid, and it's all unifying us as one, and everybody remembering that we are one and that we are source, and that literally solves all of our other problems. And that's what ignites paradise and a new Eden within. Its memories, and they then get projected out onto the screen as the new memories, our true memories, are coming online. Okay, and they're being ignited through the solar activations, crystalline activations, crystalline core activations, the activations that I share here, and so forth. It all adds up. yeah, and all the stuff that's happening. So just try to see where you like to be told what is happening and when something is happening, okay? Because it's you giving your power away. And I've mentioned this before, but it's important to just see, because again, this is us not being sovereign. This is us not fully having reclaimed our power, and us not asking ourselves, what do I want to create? Instead of asking, oh, what's going to happen over the next week? Like, I mean, for all means, watch it or whatever, but don't, know it for what it is. You are constantly allowing yourself to be programmed. So whether it's, a weather forecast, whether it's news, astrology reports, energy reports, psychic readings, you just need to be aware of where you're constantly allowing yourself to be programmed, instead of you being the creator and informing your reality of what you want to create. And see where you're doing this unknowingly. Because that's really, again, the only reason why the false light is doing what it does. Because they're constantly telling you what's happening. They're constantly programming you. So I would really, again, suggest for you to tune into source. Just free yourself of anything you think what anyone else ever told you, including me, what's going to happen or not happening. And see for yourself what you can find out. What is of resonance to you? Whenever you read anything, to find a deep resonance, and don't just. And another thing is also how we can clear ourselves of the false light is share your own voice. Like, I also share, obviously, other people's posts, or, when there's something relevant on my page. But mostly I share my own material. And it's very important to share your own voice and not just regurgitate other people's ideas, beliefs, opinions, and posts and creations. Because you are a creator to, again, bring out your own creatorness. Because what we are going to, it's like all of this material stuff, just forget about it. But it's about us creating. It's a renaissance of creativity and art. And it's about creating beauty. And it's about you tuning into what are your gifts and abilities, your very specific ones. What kind of beauty can you bring to the world? Higher frequencies, higher creations, okay, that the world needs. Your keys and codes that are very specific to you. And they don't come by you just regurgitating other people's information and creations, especially when it comes to beliefs and opinions. And any kind of teachings and knowings. Just pick out what resonates, but I would just hold on very lightly, okay? And keeps changing and expanding. It has done so far. It will keep on doing that. I'm pretty sure of that one. And it's also us being aware of just our programming from school, that we were always taught to suppress our inherent genius. We were constantly told, something that children, if they're just being, left to their own devices, would pick up even themselves, ideas like homeschooling or unschooling. I do believe we all have an inherent genius, and it gets trained out of us when we go to school. And the same is actually with spiritual teachings. So we inherently know how to heal. We inherently know deep within. We have our gifts and abilities, which is our ancient remembering, and how to do this. But we've all been programmed by the outside of this is the right way to do it. I personally, as I said before, you make a Reiki master, but then what I'm doing here is very far away from obviously that. But, it's still, the principle is still there of, healing, energy healing, and channeling, transmitting source energy. But again, I would just say, just forget what you've been taught and learned. It's always good to get you started and to help you trigger your own remembering, but then you make it your own, give it your own twist, you make it your own, you take it from there and you expand. And I do this really with any kind of knowledge I've taken on from the outside as well. It just fills in usually gaps I have in knowledge, or helps me trigger my remembering. So it's not about just totally disregarding any information or written book out there, but just knowing that it's just an opinion, a perspective, ultimately theory, until you have tested it out for yourself. So see it and handle it as such, and stop trying to defend it, because it's your ego clinging onto a false sense of security, wanting to know this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. This is why we had the fall in consciousness, so we could find out for ourselves. what is good and bad. That's sovereignty. That's you learning discernment, not just you swallowing whatever you're being taught and fed. See your own patterns where that happens, not just out there. So manifestation is simply bringing something into manifestation through your thoughts and beliefs, which we are constantly doing, okay? The question is, what is that? Who is informing your manifestation? Is it you, or is it coming from the outside of what you think is possible now? So imagine today is the day where you again get to choose your own fate. You're in charge now. Imagine that. If anything was possible, and that's where we're at now. That's where I'm at now, because I need to move. I need to have my own home. I want to travel. I want to do things. I want to have fun. And I think we're all there now. Okay. We can feel it in the field. Yesterday, I was we need to change movement. Okay. So let's have fun with that, but just know you are the creator of your own destiny. Okay. And fate ultimately. And you need to choose yourself. Okay. And you need to go for it, and you need to get it done. And you need to jump, and you need to take the risks. And you just need to experience it and be the fool. You need to just be the fool on this journey, be the happy fool who keeps trying things out, who's just vulnerable and honest. And like, you have your wits about you, discernment. You don't just, you're not just gullible, but you have crystal clear vision, because divine love has crystal clear vision. But you know what I mean? You need to just also go for it. You need to go for life. And because once the fears are gone, we are now experiencing life to the fullest again. That's where we're going, because we all been half that here to one degree or another. And it's also us returning, our life force, and, reconnecting to source, and not being fully constantly drained by all of the energetic stuff that goes on, and the energetic, attacks and the siphoning that has been so far plaguing us on this planet. So now the interference patterns have been fully dissolved and lifted. Now we can co-create to our heart's content. So let us behave accordingly. Let's become super conscious of every word, thought, feeling, belief, and action we take. It's our deepest held beliefs and expectations that are manifesting our realities, okay? So it's not about being in control of our realities. We give it our biggest, we try and put our intentions out, but then we also let go. Okay, it's both ends. You can't be in control. It's a co-creation. It's a little bit of mastering and directing your life, and the rest is up to source to surprise you. Okay, otherwise this would be also very boring if there was no surprise room for surprises available. And that's also where the whole letting go right now comes in a lot. And it's also receivership, because it's all already been created. It all has already happened. It really has. And we're just tuning into it now, and it's just now seeing that the false overlays fully disappearing, and us seeing, because we already am seeing the truth on an internal, information level, and seeing what's really going on. And then comes the reality shift, as in visually. Just when the flow state, massive DNA, rainbow line, diamond rainbow plasma light body activations, Merkaba activations, planetary white, with you in your field, dizziness, nausea. We have flu-type symptoms. It can be anything. You can feel tension at times. I mean, anything goes, okay? But your field can feel like it's spinning faster, and it's your Merkaba, basically, in your whole spin rate, because we need to spin at a higher vibratory frequency for us to uplift in consciousness. So that's what's happening. So it's like going up in the airplane. We are ascending. So just, you might need extra rest. Take it if you can. Listen to your body. Your body ultimately knows before anyone tells you what is good or not. If you want to eat sweets, eat sweets. Okay. If you want to have a beer, whatever that may be. You need to figure out for yourself what works for you and what doesn't. I think we're all adults here. All these belief systems, again, of what's good, right, wrong, especially when it comes to food and all of this, has to be transcended. Discernment is different, okay? But don't project toxicity out there on the food either. It's bad enough as it is, okay? Yes, certain foods obviously have higher vibrations and frequencies and so forth, but ultimately everything is mana, and what you're projecting onto something, again, placebo, nocebo effect, applies to everything. It really does. So All these activations are also bringing massive purges, physical symptoms, as is always the case. Okay, mental, emotional, physical, and everybody's at a slightly different stage. So again, this is done from within the center, and it's going out to all willing heart minds, and also some of the unwilling minds, but who have their hearts in the right place, shall see the truth as it arises. And just as long as you transcend your ego self, there's no problem here. Okay, it's your ego that's struggling and clinging on for survival, because it depends on the matrix. And the matrix, it depends on having an opinion. It depends on an identity. Like, it's not as if we are losing our identity, but we're getting to know our true self, and it is forever expanding. Okay, so ultimately, you are imagining yourself. You are imagining your identity. So you can also change it and shift it. But ultimately, it's when we're connected to source, this is happening through us. It's the same as me writing. Like yesterday on New Year's Day, I was so tired. I could hardly do anything. And at one point, I just need to write something comes through, I write it, but it's like an automatic writing process, and it's something, a higher power basically working through me, my own higher self. Like, it's also funny about the way I write, and some the capital letters, and I know some people get triggered by that as well. And it's not like my natural style of writing as such. It's just something that has come through over the last year or two, and I'm just being shown that it helps also the repetitiveness of certain things to anchor this in and to help us reprogram. Because I know it can look sometimes even a bit tacky, or, like the kind of wording, but it's just, I can't help myself literally than writing like this. It's really weird. It's funny because sometimes I judge it myself. But it's just been shown to me that I'm just writing how it's come through. And I really park my ego on the side. And it's my higher source self, though. So it's not as if someone else is writing through me, but it's my higher self. And it's like, kind of, even when I'm tired, it's like, I need to write it and post it, because it needs to be anchored and activated in the field. Yeah, and it won't let me rest like tonight as well. And I need to actually go to sleep now. So let's finish this. So we're remembering who we truly are, which is at one with all, God source consciousness embodied, a unique fractal of God source, nothing more, nothing less. Okay, surrender to this. You're everything, you're nothing. And that's when you become truly free, when you have let go of your false ego self. Okay, and have become at one with source. This is what this is all about. That's ascension. Surrender. What are you afraid of? It's just your false ego that's struggling here. So, and then once we have fully become unified with one, nothing lies outside of us. And that's when we become limitless, and are also able to access limitless abundance, because we are that limitless abundance. Nothing lies outside of us anymore. Now, it's still all in divine order and alignment. Yeah. We're not controlling and forcing anything, but that's why we don't give up, but we let go, and we know it's just coming to us. We just need to be in no fear and non-attachment, in total surrender state, knowing that it's already done, which obviously we know is sometimes a lot harder than, easier said than done. But yeah, let us remember that. Okay, so we are the abundance we are seeking. Everything we are seeking is seeking us, because everything is us. Everything is an extension of us. Okay, and we realize that once we have transcended any remaining illusions of separation and polarity consciousness. Because it's like when I mentioned the essential mechanics material the other time, and I have done this before. It's just, I've seen, and I very much enjoy the material as well. Okay, some of it gets sometimes a bit heavy to digest and boring, but I do understand. I find it fascinating to learn new things as well, but we just shouldn't get stuck there. And when I got to know this material at the beginning, I just could see if you hadn't integrated enough of the oneness already, you could get stuck in polarity consciousness very quickly. And that's what I've just seen happening. And it really pains me. It has been really hard for me to see my brothers and sisters who I've been really here helping, even if they've been judging and hating on me, because the material tells them if I question it or if I'm not fully in resonance with it, I'm kind of the negative alien agenda, which is part of the brainwashing. Sorry. But if anyone tells you that, if this doesn't resonate with you, you're a negative alien, I mean, come on, sorry. Or you're a part of that agenda, sort of thing. And it does resonate. It's just that there are also very tricky and dangerous inversions and reversals in there. And it's just set in the frequency of polarity consciousness, because you're always like the angelic humans versus the fallen angels. And we need to transcend all of these stories. We need to understand we're all of this, and we have co-created this all as one. All of this is this. And, you know, as long as we still feel separate and think they're like in charge here for however knows how long, we keep giving our power away, and you keep feeding that fallen timeline, that fallen story, that fallen reality. You need to see it for what it is. So a deep collective debt forgiveness is arising from within, and as we forgive, we set both, or rather free people free, or basically all. Because as we forgive ourselves, we forgive all others. That's what the ONEness is about, and that's what's happening right now, as we really realize that, you know, when we judge someone else, we're really judging ourselves. So this is all bringing peace, equilibrium, and balance to the one cosmic mind. That's the end of all wars, because we're done here. We've done this for hundreds of millions of years, and we're done now with this. We are. Just quickly checking if there was anything that's worth still saying, but I'm done now. So just know it's a deep multidimensional integration process, which is also the multidimensional DNA activations. And that's bringing your memories online and your gifts and abilities. So keep tuning in, make space for it. And it's also clearing, dissolving all the remaining illusions of separation and fragmentation, because as we unify with oneness, you no longer feel separate, okay? And that's when everything becomes divine again, and you can see the bigger picture. So this also completing the divine union process of the masculine and feminine energies and heals our morphogenetic field. It brings harmony and balance and equilibrium, peace, ecstasy, and a frequency of pure, true, divine love to the field. I hope you can feel it. So that's also healing our nervous system and auric field, and basically our whole divine blueprint. And it's all about you and your true authentic self. Speak your truth, be the love, be the change, okay? And everything else comes from there, because the truth will just come to you. And it's, I think, very crystal clear now, okay? It's becoming crystal clear, all right? Everything, super crystal clear. The truth is arising from within us all, and so it was done. So this is also then the end of needing and lack energies, as we are fully reclaimed our true self and have learned what self-love really looks like. So once we're fully integrated, there's nothing lacking anymore, okay? There's no more victim consciousness, there's no more poverty consciousness, okay? And we're no longer in the frequency of needing anything outside of us to feel full and abundant and joyful and happy. And this is really the key to our abundance, is the self-love, as we know. So I think I said it right. Yeah, just one more thing. There is a big focus on blood purification through the crystal waters flowing in from source, and it's basically coming from the auroras, from the aurora host, and it's basically crystallizing and purifying our blood cells and bodies, and it's also helping the elemental re-encryption and healing, as they also return eternal life flows currents. So it's literally clearing, cleansing your blood and crystallizing it and returning eternal life flows. And very important, what happened also, the artificial AI hive mind has been fully dissolved and has been reset to cosmic God source consciousness. So no more hive mind, okay? The matrix is done. God source consciousness is fully taken over, as the old has been taken fully offline. Usunatera sekinatera shukukukukukuku unasa aera ku usanatekera suku ushunatara teyana kekera su unatara kushunata tayana tekerata. Done. So our eyes and higher heart minds are opening up wide, and basically just stay focused and remember that the ones that, you know, kind of forgive them, but they don't know what they're doing, they're literally just confused and have forgotten again who they are. Okay, just see the confusion. See just, the evil as a loss in consciousness, because these people just cannot perceive another way as well. And in general, just people who are confused, just see it for what it is. Try to have a compassionate viewpoint of how somebody could maybe get to a certain state instead of just judging it and having hate and, that kind of energy. Because we're really here to understand the consciousness and to integrate it all as one. So then nothing triggers us anymore in the end, unless they overstep their boundaries and we're like, hey, back off. Because that really needs to be the case as well. Okay, we need to be able to do this. That's you holding your own container and being your safe masculine, holding the space. Okay. And this is also clearing the whole trauma-based mind control and MK Ultra programming. This is what's happening right now. So people are awakening from the different collective mind control and brainwashing fields they've been under. So it's time for wakies. And that's also the end of toxic realities. Again, I talked about this whole dogmatic, toxic, compartmentalized belief systems that really creates a world divided by good versus evil. We created it with our own minds. Okay, you need to see it for what it is. So I hope we do get it. I'm done. That's it. We are done. This is done. I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to look after myself. I need to nurture myself and have fun and take it easy. So I love you all so much. Thank you so much for holding the vision. Keep holding the frequency. Okay. And New Earth is here now. Any moment. It's coming fully online, fully visible. But again, we keep making it happen as you keep listening to your divine inner guidance. Okay. Because we are those who ignite New Earth from within us. But most of that is really igniting our sacred crystal heart. And that is happening through us transcending all of that, which is keeping us from feeling that love, which are all the walls and the protective mechanisms we have took on in order to protect ourselves, and which have been in a way necessary until now, but they're no longer. And you can protect your field and sovereignty without being protective, as in needing to protect yourself from an attack. Because what we are accessing right now, there will be no longer attacks, okay, as such, but we will always keep a sovereign energy field. Now, just know what's going on if you've been tested. Also, check out my last video. I know it was 3 hours long, but it has a lot of good tips in there as well. The same as my other videos. All of these are timeless. Everything is supposed to help you purify, clear, heal, balance, harmonize, and upgrade and activate your whole morphogenetic field, your true divine blueprint, and remembering gifts, abilities. And yeah, if you like to support me, details are underneath for any donations. Thank you very much. And like, share, subscribe, comment if you like. And otherwise, I will see you when I see you. I really hope we have that party soon, because I'm looking forward to dancing. We all are tired of, just, we're done with this now. So we're ready for new things. And they are here. I hope we can all feel it. I can feel it, and we're making it happen. Okay, we're not waiting for anything. We're not waiting. It's all about just alignment. It's not about pushing anything or forcing anything either, but we're just aligning with divine higher guidance. And then we will know and do know what we need to know in every now moment. And you just know, okay, what to do and when. And even if you get something wrong, at least then you know. All right, all through experience. Be the happy fool. Really, it's the only way. You need to get the joke of all of this, because otherwise it's just misery. Okay, so once you get this is all a projection, it's like, oh wow, this was crazy. But then you also get to fully now dream all new worlds into being. Okay, from within your own dream field. Okay, be the creator. Tap into your divine inner creator, creatrix. Okay, the ascended master who has basically co-created, seeded all of this, and to know how to fully align with that already fully ascended version of yourself that is timelessly always available, always here, the same as your God source consciousness. Okay, no more time, transcending time, space, gravity. because we want to levitate, we want to teleport, okay? And we have taken over the world to behave accordingly, all right? Not from controlling or bossing or, you know, that kind of energy, but just by knowing you're holding the responsibility for the collective energies through every word, thought, feeling, belief, and action you take, okay? So it's a consciousness, it's the frequency you hold, your overall frequency that you're constantly holding, okay? So it's not about just being happy and jumping around all the time. Hopefully soon, a lot more of that. Okay, so I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being who you are. Keep doing the good work. Keep being your best, most authentic, truest version or most awesome version that you can be. Okay, just be natural. It's all about what does organic mean? Just be natural. How would you naturally be before anyone told you how to be or not be, and without feeling insecure or wondering if other people like you or not? Okay, just be your true self, and the right people will find you, and you will find each other and gravitate towards one another. Because it's all about getting rid of all these karmic connections, karmic load is all fully clearing. Karmic contracts, it's done. We're done here. Done. Done. So it is. Now enjoy the final ride. Be ready for this final culmination, climax of the Supernova of the Heart event. We are ready. And yeah, just have fun co-creating the new Eden and your own little paradise here now. All right? All is one. So much love. Bye, bye, bye.